life out by the lake.
Do what?
I thought I was going to get to be Josh tonight. No,
Do
no,
you think
no.
basketball is something? You'll be out there for baseball with us.
I am out there with
you are.
baseball.
Are you coaching a team?
I was signed up as an assistant coach without my knowledge.
Well, Paul is Bryce's sister.
Yes. So their group is a year younger than what Brooks is in.
Oh, I see.
Because Upward it was 5, 6 year olds. So this group that Brooks is in is just 6, and I think theirs is 4 or 5, if I'm not mistaken. So
Oh, no, I'm going to be 6 in May.
I think there was a cutoff.
Yeah. Might have been the first of June.
And it's probably good. I mean, to have kind of,
It might have been the first of June.
at this age, it's not bad to have them kind of.
Oh, Bryce is hitting the ball well. He's hitting the ball well. Can't none of them catch it.
No.
They can't catch it.
Did you anticipate that being the case?
Well, when Bryce was that age, he was pretty good at catching the ball.
Well, I probably had a dad that would throw it and hit him in the face if he did.
Well,
so.
I did. I told him, I said, the glove is your protection, son. Well, he was pretty good. The thing about this is when he got to be 15, he'd rather go fishing than playing baseball. Brother Cunningham, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing special. Yeah, I know. I didn't mean to bruise you. You did a little thing.
See,
Well,
Dave.
I was going to tell you, Jerry and Bryce have gotten their money back for the stuff for their practice school.
Blessings starts next year as well.
Good. Will he be in the
They'll be in the same. Well, no, because he'd be in kindergarten.
first grade?
They'll be in first grade next year.
Son will be in the first grade.
Yeah. So close.
Okay. All right, then they'll be in the same grade.
Yeah, they'll be the same class. Then.
Yeah, so they got 9 there now. So that'll probably give them 10 because I don't think they'll have anybody drop out.
Well, my understanding is that they've got 15 signed up. 14 or 15 signed up.
So for that first grade, that's good. I think they cut it off at 15 or 16.
They have to, because if they don't, you kind of lose a little bit of the one-on-one. Yeah.
Bryce, I mean, something that's you know what he's reading on my wife educated him, and she said he's reading on Sunday levels. That's great. So, and that's the important part. Reading is the important part.
At this age.
At this age,
Absolutely.
if they can read, they can learn.
And if they've already got a mindset to do some of the other stuff, like the engineering kind of mindset, that will only, that'll rest that stuff.
Oh yeah, he loves it. Of course, Miss George is going back to. She's going to go back and work on run the business because her husband is in the military. And he's got to take this 18-month training course in the National Guard. He can't run the business, so she's having to quit and go run the business.
Which, I kind of hate that, because she's a good teacher.
Oh, yeah.
But, the good thing is they have the ability to recruit. Everyone hates being a teacher at a Russellville school district right now.
Oh, well, it's a dumpster fire.
It is.
Ask the school board member down there. He'll tell you. Of course, Joe got in there and then they
It will. I feel stand up and actually, nothing gets you more jaded than politics. So.
He's got 3. We got 3 on there now. Joe, Don, and Miss. Okay. All right. We're going to go ahead and call the April Planning Commission meeting to order. I'd like to welcome everybody here, and we're going to start with our normal housekeeping items here with Justin Cawthorn. Now, take the attendance, please, sir.
Miller.
Here.
Jackamore.
Here.
Myself, present. Monfee. Hatley. Duffield. Choate.
Here.
Smith.
Here.
Black.
Here.
Mr. Westcott.
Yes, sir.
We do have a quorum. All right. Thank you, Mr. Cawthorn. All right, we have the minutes from our previous meeting. Has anybody had a chance to look at, everybody's had a chance to look at those, and what is your pleasure on those?
Make motion approved as presented.
All right.
Cody, I'll say.
All right, we got a motion and a second to approve the minutes from our last meeting. All those in favor, acknowledge by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. All right. Okay, new business. Final plat, Scenic Way Village, submitted by Craft and Toll on behalf of Scenic Way Village LLC Sarah, you got a staff report for us on that?
Yes, absolutely, I do. So this is an application for their final plat for Scenic Way Village Phase 1. I know you are all very familiar with this. It is over on Marina Way, vacant parcel, approximately in the 1300 block of Marina Way. Most of the properties within the area are large single-family lots with residential homes, and the preliminary plat was approved by you all back in June of 2023. So just a little bit of history. First, in June 2017, the Planning Commission approved a preliminary plat for an entire 125 lot subdivision. The applicant came in 2020 and split that into 2 phases, and then revised the plan again into phase 1 and 2 with only 61 lots in 2023. The provisions of the Land Subdivision and Development Code have been complied with, and the certificate of preliminary plat approval is still in effect, which allows you all to move forward with issuing a final plat. The final plat application does indicate compliance with 19 separate items, along with compliance with the previous approval for their preliminary plat. There is an outstanding punch list of items that staff does agree are the only outstanding items, and recommend approval of a bond to proceed with the project is acceptable. The performance bonds shall be deposited with the city prior to the Director of Public Works signing the final plat. So it is our recommendation that you all approve the application for the final plat for Scenic Way Village Phase 1 with the following conditions: that the bonds for punch list items and the residential sidewalk and street trees are received prior to the plat being signed by the Planning Commission Chairman and the Public Works Director. And this is as a result of the findings that the developer requested that the street tree requirement be transferred to the home builder, which is permissible per the Land Subdivision Development Code, Article 10.1.2, 13AI. The final plat conforms to the final plat requirements outlined in Section 5.3 of the Land Subdivision Development Code. The easements are located in acceptable locations over the existing utilities and drainage ways, and construction of residential single-family homes is the highest and best use of that property. Are there any questions? Yes, sir.
What are the sizes of these homes?
I can let the applicant respond to that. I do believe that you're looking at, at least 2,000 square feet? What's the size of the homes?
What are the sizes of the homes?
The bill assurance is a minimum of 1,700.
1,700.
All right, thank you, Sarah. We have, you want to see if that, Greg, do you have anything to add to that? I mean, you want to, no? Okay. All right. We have a motion to approve. All right, we have a motion and a second to approve this application as presented. All those in favor, acknowledge by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. All right, item number 2. Large-scale development located at 50 Joyce Lane, submitted by Barrett and Associates on behalf of Mesa International. Please help me with that.
It is Mesa International, I believe. Yes, okay. At least that's how I've been pronouncing it, so Mesa International it is right now. If they need to correct us, they absolutely can. So this is a large-scale development for a new large semi-diesel truck repair mechanic. It is currently a vacant parcel of land along Joyce Lane. Surrounding properties include waste management, other diesel mechanic shops, truck washes, Flying J, some smaller commercial offices, and all surrounding properties are zoned C2 highway commercial. The proposal is to allow the construction of a new 19,200 square foot diesel automotive mechanic business on 5.13 acres. And per Article 1.9.2 of the Land Subdivision Development Code, an incidental subdivision process is required and shall be completed prior to the certificate of occupancy. That does allow the applicant to move forward and begin construction while in that process. Article 2.13.3, site plan review is required. The lighting detail, the variance was approved, so not the articulation. The equipment screening, pedestrian circulation, and dumpster enclosure will be confirmed at that time during the site plan review. And a material sample board will be required to confirm compliance with the commercial building design requirements. Article 2.13, they have met the area and building coverage regulations. The parking regulations, they did provide a parking calculation, but that will need to be provided at the time of a business license submittal to confirm that their parking is in compliance at the time that they get their business license. And then there are some outstanding stormwater requirements, so they will need to submit civil site plans showing compliance with those stormwater regulations. So it is our recommendation to approve the large-scale development to allow construction of a new diesel automotive mechanic on Joyce Lane with the following conditions. Apply for and obtain an incidental subdivision. Provide the statement of parking analysis at the time of business license submittal. Provide the following with the application for the site plan review, which is the lighting detail, the materials sample board for the MBCI FW120 to confirm compliance. Utility mechanical equipment screening, pedestrian circulation will need to be confirmed, and the masonry dumpster enclosure details, along with submitting civil site plans showing compliance with the regulations regarding drainage. And this is as a result of the findings that the applicant received a variance for the roll-up doors and the wall articulation. The applicant has expressed their commitment to adhere to the zoning regulations and demonstrates compliance with the regulations within Section 7 of the Land Subdivision and Development Code. Are there any questions?
Thank you, sir.
What does this mean? The utility mechanical screening appears to be located within not currently meeting requirements. What does that mean?
So there is a requirement that mechanical and utility equipment needs to be screened if it's visible for the right-of-way. So they have to put some kind of fencing or shrubbery or something around it, and we can just confirm that with the site. Correct, yes, sir.
So that needs to be settled?
With the site plan review process, since we still have a building permit application, we can confirm it at that time. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. You want to step up to the mic and identify yourself if you would, if you don't care, sir. Well, they know who to ask.
I am Hunter Mays with Baird & Associates. If y'all have any questions, just let me know.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mays. All right. Commissioners?
Make a motion to approve.
Okay. All right, we have a motion and a second to approve as presented here. All those in favor acknowledge by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. All right, item number 3. Vacation 25-foot portion of North Knoxville right-of-way along lots 5 through 8 in the Eugene Renfro edition, submitted by Connect Church. Victoria, take it away.
Absolutely. So as stated, this is a vacation of right-of-way application. It is to vacate a portion of 25-foot unopened right-of-way along lots 5 through 8 of the Gene Renfro edition, and this is right adjacent to Connect Church. The existing conditions, this is located in the Parker neighborhood. This is an existing right-of-way that runs between the platted residential subdivision and Connect Church. You can see it kind of highlighted in red on your screen. The right-of-way and surrounding properties are zoned R2 medium-density residential. Surrounding uses include single-family and multifamily residential, and then Connect Church. When looking at vacations of right-of-way, we have 3 things to consider, and you'll see those listed up on your screen and on your staff report. The first is, what is the impact of the proposed vacation upon the public trust functions of the right-of-way? Does the vacation impact circulation, access, utilities, open space, and/or views? So no, this proposal is requesting to vacate a portion of right-of-way that is currently undeveloped and unutilized. City Corporation is requesting a 15-foot utility easement in the vacated right-of-way to allow service for an existing sewer main. The applicant is aware of that. Entergy, Brightspeed, and Summit Utilities all had no objections to this vacation. Altice had not responded after numerous attempts beginning February 19th. That was something we wanted to note, as we did have issues getting responses from them this go around. So just wanted you all to know that. The land use impacts. The impact is that the property owner will have development rights over this portion of their property. They are wanting to build an awning from the church over an existing walkway from the church parking lot to this house that they own. And then the public benefit received by vacating the right-of-way. There's negligible benefit, if any, given that we are currently not utilizing this right-of-way. The adjacent property owner, being Connect Church, is actively maintaining this portion of the right-of-way, and as noted by the concurrence to vacate this portion of the right-of-way by the utility companies, there is not an identified need to retain this right-of-way. So staff does recommend forwarding this application to City Council with approval to vacate the right-of-way with the following condition: that they retain a 15-foot public utility easement for the existing sewer main for City Corporation, and this is as a result of the findings that there is not an impact to the public trust, land use impacts, and no adverse effects to the public benefit. And no objections have been filed by any utility company for the vacation, just to retain that portion of the right-of-way as an easement. And no current installations within the easement are prohibiting this vacation of right-of-way. Are there any questions?
So this vacation right away, you mentioned something about, them building a canopy, a
An
walkway
awning,
over
so
that?
there's an existing walkway from the parking lot over to this house that they own. My understanding is they're gonna use it for Bible studies and stuff such as that for the church, and so they're wanting to do an awning over the walkway.
And you can still do that if you vacate the
City
right
Cor-
of way?
Yes, they'll be able to, and with that easement, City Corporation has told us as long as they don't have structural poles in that 15-foot easement, they're okay with them having the canopy over their easement.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
yes, City Corporation's aware of what the kind of future plans are down the line, and they've said they're okay as long as there's no structural in their easement.
So they say that they're willing to, if they have to tear down on the
Well, City Corporation's saying they would be able to access their easement without, that's my understanding, as long as there's no structural in their way. So, that was my understanding.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for me?
No, let's don't hinder the work of God here, guys. Let's, what's your pleasure, gentlemen? Ladies? Okay. All right, we have a motion and a second to approve this as presented. All those in favor, acknowledge by saying aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carried. All right. Item number 4, vacation of 60-foot portion of West 13th Street, right-of-way between Lot 4, Block 11, Lot 1, Block 12 of South Lawn Heights Edition, submitted by Barrett and Associates on behalf of Eddie Rude. Sarah, you got a staff report?
Yes, sir. Like you said, this is a vacation of right-of-way, 13th Street. You can see on the map, it's this wooded portion of property where a right-of-way should be. This application is being brought to vacate that 60-foot right-of-way. It's vacant, undeveloped. Although my pictures are from Google Earth because I did not get out there. If you have driven by this property, you will see that grading has already commenced in this area and that you could potentially see housing pads because they are starting to get ready to develop in that area. This property and all surrounding properties are zoned R2, medium-density residential, and this is primarily a mixed residential community with single-family duplex dwellings and small-scale multifamily units. Same three items that Victoria just went over with you all. We're looking at what are the public trust functions, what are the land use impacts, and what's the public benefit. And so in regards to the first item, what is the impact of the proposed vacation upon those public trust functions? There's not an impact in that this proposal is seeking to vacate a segment of this undeveloped, it's unopened right-of-way. It's not, there's not a street there. No one's currently using it unless someone is crossing through the woods. Entergy has requested the retention of a right-of-way for any existing lines within the area, although Mr. Garza of Barrett and Associates has confirmed the absence of such lines. Brightspeed and Summit Utilities have expressed no objections, and despite numerous attempts, again, since February 19th, Altice has not responded to staff requests or to applicant requests. Both sides of the right-of-way are owned by Mr. Rude, who intends to replat the property to create an additional lot for constructing a duplex at this location. The land use impacts regarding this vacation is that typically a vacation would be split and landowners on each side would each get 30 additional feet. But in this case, since Mr. Rude owns both sides, he's going to be able to replat the property and actually develop and build a duplex on that property is his intention. And so it does transfers that right to him to be able to do that. And the public benefit is that if it is right-of-way, the city is technically responsible for maintaining that, and this transfers that maintenance right to them. So as a result of the information received, staff does request or recommend that you all forward this to City Council with approval to vacate the 60-foot right-of-way. As a result, that there is not an impact to the public trust, land use impacts, and no adverse effect to the public benefit. Entergy requested retention of a right-of-way for any currently existing lines, although none have been located. No objections filed by any utility company for the vacation. Are there any questions? Yes, ma'am.
I think I'm on. Okay, so you're saying that the 13th Street is going to be closed up to his property, the 60 feet that wants to be vacated?
Yes, ma'am. So the 60-foot right-of-way between his property, if you see on the screen here, that yellow box, that is that 60-foot right-of-way that would be closed. And so then there's an extra lot in there that could be developed.
Okay, so 13th would be open from South Houston Avenue all the way to the end, to the beginning of.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so will that be paved, or will the city still do 13th up until that part?
Up to the property line, yes,
Yes.
ma'am. If that's a paved street, we will maintain it. I do believe it's just been utilized as a driveway.
It hadn't been, it's
Oh,
been a
it-
street.
Well, 13th Street where it has been paved will still be maintained by the city.
Okay.
It's just that portion, and right now previous to their grading, it was just a wooded piece of property.
Right, okay.
All right, thank you, Sarah. Anybody have any questions or, you got anything to add on this one? You ready for the darts? If they throw them at you, you're ready to catch them, right? Okay, all right, guys.
I'll make a motion to approve as
Okay.
presented.
You're off the hook. We have a motion to approve.
Second.
All right, we have a second. All those in favor, acknowledge by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. All right, next item. Vacation of portion of West C Street right-of-way between blocks F and G of the Hall Edition, submitted by Barrett and Associates on behalf of Jim Knight. Victoria, you want a staff report?
Yes,
on that?
sir. So as stated, this application is being brought before the Planning Commission to vacate a portion of unused West C Street right-of-way running along the property line at 2402 West C Street. This is in front of Remington Apartments. The existing conditions, this is located in the D Street neighborhood. It is an existing apartment complex. This property is zoned R3, medium high-density residential, with all surrounding properties being zoned R2. Surrounding uses include multifamily housing and vacant property. So again, we're going to go through those same three items. The vacation of this portion of the right-of-way will not impair circulation and will still allow retention of the required 50 feet of right-of-way in this location. Entergy is requesting a utility easement in the vacated right-of-way to allow service for their existing overhead lines. Again, City Corporation, Brightspeed, and Summit Utilities do not have any objections to the vacation. And then again, Altice did not respond after numerous attempts. The impact of this would be that the trash enclosure that the applicant has built on their property, or not on their property, will now be on their property and no longer be in the right-of-way. The public benefit would be cleaning up the right-of-way in this location. When West C Street was repaved several years ago, the right-of-way was realigned on the properties to the south to obtain additional right-of-way and was not vacated on the properties to the north. So this would be cleaning up some of that. The city should have cleaned this up at that time but didn't. By allowing this vacation, it would help to clean up that right-of-way in this area, still maintaining, again, that 50 feet of right-of-way required for West C Street. Staff does recommend forwarding this application to City Council for approval to vacate this portion of West C Street right-of-way with the following condition: retain a public utility easement for the existing overhead Entergy lines, and this is as a result of the findings that there is not an adverse impact to public trust, land use impacts, and no adverse effects to the public benefit. No objections have been filed by any utility company for the vacation. Again, just that retention of the portion of the right-of-way for an easement. And then no current installations within the easement prohibiting this vacation of right-of-way came up. Are there any questions for staff?
All right, thank you. You got anything you want to add? Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
Okay. All right, we have a motion and a second to approve this as presented. All those in favor, acknowledge by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. All right. Last item here is zone text amendment to adopt proposed changes to the Russellville zoning code submitted by the City of Russellville. Sarah John Dahl, take it away.
Yes, sir. So this is our quarter one update. The Long Range Planning Committee held its first quarterly meeting on February 8th, and the following items were recommended to you all. I will say, additionally, the Long Range Planning Committee met on February 29th and March 7th to discuss some of the items that we have recommended to forward to you all. So I'm going to keep this short and sweet and just go over the proposed updates. The first one is an update to Article 1.142 related to the fee schedule. The permit fee for signs was not clearly identified, and so this is just clearly defining that and identifying it so people can easily find where that fee is. Update Article 3.12 relating to swimming pools, and this is just clarifying what is meant by a fence for a pool. In some instances, The wall of the pool was trying to be used as the fence, meeting the fence requirement, and so this just clears that up. Update to Article 3.28 related to mobile food vendors. Relating to the location of food vendors in the right-of-way and how long they could stay at in one parking space, and before moving, it does allow an exclusion if it's under an event. If Main Street Russellville has an event downtown for 4 days, they could stay there the whole 4 days for the event. Or an eclipse, yes, which I'm sure you have all noticed that on some of my slides, or all of them, there's this little eclipse up there. I stole that from NASA's website. Because we might as well celebrate that there will be eclipse on Monday. Update. Exactly, there's going to be 300 weddings, absolutely. Update Article 6.1.6, the driveways for residential dwellings. It clarified the language regarding the width for duplexes versus other residential dwellings. Some of the language had gotten mixed up. You all remember we had lots of conversations about those duplexes. This still retains that 45-foot width for the duplexes when it's on a single lot, but then made sure that all of the other residential driveways had that 30-foot requirement that was intended. Update to Article 12, and this is the definition. So we're updating the definition of family regarding the unrelated persons, adding definitions for occupancy disclosure statement and occupancy waiver permit. Regarding the unrelated persons, it's going to limit unrelated persons living together to 3 people within the R1 zone and 4 people within the R2, 3, 4 zones. It's 3 people in the R1, RE, and RO zones. See, I printed this up for myself for a reason, so that I could remember. And 4 in all other zoning districts. And that's just the unrelated persons portion of that definition. But then we did add definitions for occupancy disclosure, and it did include a definition for occupancy waiver permit. And then we are recommending to you all to recommend to the City Council to update Ordinance 2477 related to the noise ordinance. As part of those discussions regarding the unrelated persons, it was brought to our attention that the noise ordinance is kind of ambiguous, it's subjective. Well, that's loud to me, but maybe not loud to someone else. And so by recommending to add decibel levels, it gives a clear line for enforcement, so that we can potentially enforce on some of those issues regarding that. So that's just a quick run through of the proposed updates. I know you all have those, and I highlighted them a little bit more in the staff report. So it is the long-range planning committees and staff's recommendation to forward this application to City Council with a recommendation of approval to update the zoning code articles 1.142, 3.12, 3.28, 6.1.6, and Article 12, and to recommend updating Ordinance 2477, the noise ordinance, as a result of the findings that the Long Range Planning Committee recommends these additions and updates to the regulations. The changes align with the intent of the language, and the changes consistent with the objectives outlined in Reimagine Russellville 2040 Comprehensive Plan and the Russellville Zoning Code. Are there any questions? Yes, sir.
Easy question. It does mention a noise meter and the use by the city of a noise meter to determine the decibels and whatnot. Is the city currently in possession of such a meter?
We do have one that has certified, has been tested and is certified levels, and then we have another decibel meter that we can use as well. And the police department is talking about potentially obtaining a few more to help if enforcement becomes numerous.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. And I should say it's a calibrated decibel level. That's what I meant.
I'll make a motion to approve.
All right, we have a motion to approve. We have a motion and a second to approve as presented. All those in favor acknowledge by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carried. Jane Pittman, it's great to have you here tonight. She's part of that long-range committee, guys, by the way. All right, if we have no other business, then we are adjourned. All right.